All right. How are we looking here? Is everybody maybe give us a wave or a hand up if you're all back in the room? Everybody back? Let's see. Oh, I see it there. Okay, let me go here. Awesome. Awesome. All right, speaker view. Perfect. Okay, let's get rolling. Are you ready, Jordan?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Definitely.
Cool, man. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for doing this.
I mean,
Bro.
that was a treat for me.
I know.
That was lovely.
I was like taking notes, man. That was his words of wisdom. But
Oh, yeah.
I want to introduce you guys to Jordan. Jordan and I have known each other now for a good year and a half-ish or so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brought Jordan on the first podcast, and we hit it off so well. We started talking via Instagram and everything else, and a few months later, we had a podcast of our own. And so Jordan and I have been doing that for about a year, a little over a year now, year and a half. The Creative Course. And it's just one of the best conversations. I don't know what it was, but when we kind of hooked up to do this, we have very similar tastes. We have very different tastes. We are all over the map. And it's makes for great conversations, and we're very guest driven, and we've had a ball doing it. I reached out to him. We were talking the other day, and I said, I want you to come on board. We're in this like perfect little zone about talking about case studies. And I love how Jordan does this with his work. So I'm going to hand it over to you, bro. Again, thank you for doing this. So happy you are doing. Give it up for Jordan, guys. Give him a little round of applause. Some hands up. Good
Nice.
deal, man.
Like Nick said, my name's Jordan. I live here in Portland, Oregon. And I operate a little freelance creative studio up here. And I'm just going to jump in. I know
Do it, man.
pushing time, right? So let's just dig in, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I got to
make you a co-host.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all right.
There we go.
Okay. I'm not the co-host. Excellent. Okay. So can we all see the screen?
We are good.
We good?
Yep.
Cool, man. I'm still learning Zoom. I'm a Skype boy myself. So just a little bit about me, Portland, Oregon. I primarily do a lot of like brand strategy, some packaging, photography. So I'm just going to give you just a little bit of stuff. These are a collection, what I call most accessible in my Dropbox. So here's some logos here, various brands of all sorts. I also do a lot of packaging and a ton in the beer side of stuff, which is fitting because Portland is flush with breweries.
Yeah.
So we got some packaging work I've done just kind of recently. And then I do a lot of photography, packaging, glamour shots, fun splash photography, just kind of weird, fun stuff, right? But the theme of this episode, I guess what we're going to get into is case studies, right?
Yeah.
We're calling this a case-by-case study of case studies for the sake of escaping cruddy studies with some buddies.
Oh my God.
That's right.
Can we wait? T-shirt time. We totally need this. Yeah.
This is the result of quarantine for fucking 4 months, man. Like this is the brain gets weird. Dropping all sorts of good examples.
I love it.
For me, I mean, I think overall everyone has their own sort of thumbprint touch to how they build something, but I think primarily there is a route to creating something more engaging versus others, or something that I would deem maybe more successful in terms of outreach, finding the right eyes. Also, let's keep this super informal. If you guys have a question, just unmute, interrupt me.
Do it.
Yeah, we don't need to keep this formal. The slideshow is literally like 4 slides. So we can The first thing obviously is like, what is a design case study, right? And I think this is sort of my own words, but it's an example of a successful project you've created. And you want this case study to outline the project, the client, the problem, showcase the solution. You want to visualize your process, and you want to deliver reason for approach. And so I think the best way to think of a case study is sort of your hero story. You know what I mean? So like if you were to, for example, like open a comic book, maybe it's a Batman comic, and the first page is the last page, and it's just the Joker in prison. Where it's like, well, how did the Joker get there? Where's the origin? Give me the process of that. There's no interest. It's not engaging if you just immediately give us the final result without any sort of tension, you know, a strategic approach. And so for example of what is not a case study, I'm going to use my own website because I have ones that are and ones that are not. So for what's not a case study, let's just use this beer, right? It's on the website. I think it draws some eyes. I've gotten jobs from this project itself, but the problem is that immediately I'm going right. It's pretty much a showcase of the final product, which has, I think, merit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if every action or item on your portfolio has to be a case study, but ultimately, I think a few should. And so the disservice here is if I'm an agency or a client and I'm curious about process, well, is it, good design? Sure, maybe. But is it successful? I don't know. They don't know the goals. They don't know the problems. They don't really know the structure of taking from A to Z on this particular design. And so this would be, I would say, just a showcase. I wouldn't say this is a case study, and I'm not sure this is exactly what you would send to maybe an agency or doing some outreach on your own. This doesn't really
and for you though, this is like a one-off of a company that you do a lot of work for. So maybe it didn't need to have such a breakdown in the case study.
That's actually a great point. Yeah. So I do have an Old Town case study, but this is just a one-off specialty release. So don't think of a case study as a showcase. And oftentimes I see with younger designers, especially, their portfolios are just glamour shots or mock-ups of the finished product. But what people want to see, the people that are going to actually hire you and give you money for your time and skill, they want to know your thought process.
Yeah.
And so this doesn't do that. And so here's how I break down the case study, because they do take time and it takes a lot of effort. So I try to have a formula for each of mine, and I take them through. Again, we're creating a story. We're trying to create something more engaging than just pictures, glamour shots, eye candy. And so the first thing I'm going to do on any case study is I'm going to have the project name. I'm going to talk about the services I provided for that project, right? If an agency's looking, if oftentimes we're doing more than just a logo design or something like that. And then I'm going to create a section for the challenge. I want them to understand who the client is and the challenge they had when they came to me. What's their pain point, right? If it's a brewery that is feeling a little outdated or too heritage, or they don't have a brand structure, they don't have a voice or personality or tone, well, maybe we create challenges or goals around that specific challenge. And I want this case study to sort of lay out those problems and how I fix it. And so once we establish these pain points, I'm going to start putting in the approach, right? I'm going to have a little blurb about what to expect and the plan of attack. I'm going to sort of set expectations for the stuff they're going to see. And it can be short. I recommend keeping all this real brief, but just something so it's not just photos. You can actually, here's your chance to sort of lay the scene, set expectations, what they're going to see. And then I'm going to start giving them like a little bit of look into the process. A couple of these early sketch shots, a couple maybe ideas that didn't make it but are similar to the idea that did, right? For sketches, and we can get into this too in a little bit, but I think it's important to have these process shots because again, it's conveying your thinking. I would say for sketches and this type of shot, try to keep it as a bridge. I wouldn't put in something totally different. Something that actually doesn't make sense, I wouldn't throw that in there. I'd either try to find a sketch that's like, okay, if I start from A to C, I'm going to put in sketch B, that bridge that like is different, but you can see where it's going. That's the kind of stuff I think that does really well for this discovery process sort of shots. I also like to do little things like throwing in a quick picture of like my artboard, which if you guys do logos, it gets crazy real quick. At least mine do. Just stuff to see the process. And then I'm going to start relaying the solutions, the actual stuff we land on, your logo, your color palettes, the brand system, separated, clean. There's the result. And then application. I'm going to start putting them on mock-ups, glamour it up, putting them on billboards, all the sort of, if there's any CTAs, stuff like that. You want to start to give it context, demonstrate these results. And then the last thing, especially in case studies, if you can, have a section with some sort of result. And I know that starting off, and for me, especially when I started out, like it wasn't easy to land on these results, right? Like if your client can give you percentages if like one of the pain points was sell more beer. Well, did we do that? Did we accomplish that? I'm going to go back to these clients I'm going to ask them 6 months after we wrap, can I get percentages of where we were to where we are now?
Because you're not asking for exact numbers. That's the beauty.
Yeah. I
Just
wouldn't ask for
percentages.
like, yeah, how many more dollars did you make? But I would ask for percentages. If they don't have that, or if they're a smaller business or you don't feel comfortable, get a testimony. That's like just as good for starting off as a nice testimony from that client. That's the wrap. And so you're taking, again, someone engaging with your case study through your process all the way down to the final result, and then after, meaning your result, your testimonies, things of that nature. So let's take a look at maybe one that is a little bit more applicable to a case study here. So 5440 is a decent one here. They're out here in Washington, just pretty close to here to Portland. And this case study sort of takes it piece by piece. It's way more digestible. It's meant to be scrolled in this website, right? So the first thing I'm doing is I'm laying out the client, and I'm laying out my role, and then immediately what we're doing here. So it's a beer market. The road to success is paved by hype beers. Like basically right now, the beer market's a little crazy. Everything's like sweet, candy driven stuff. And this guy came to me because he doesn't like brewing these beers, and he was concerned they wouldn't do well in the market. That was his pain point. Beer is not what's successful in beer is not what he's good at making or what he prefers to make. So introducing that, boom, this is the guy. I'm going to show him right now. This is Paul Minister. He's the owner of the brewer, and his vision, this is what he came to me with. He wants beer to sort of signify the larger purpose of human connection versus beer shouldn't be the reason people gather. It should just be a tool at your gathering. That's his vision. Right?
And that changes the whole like trajectory of kind of where you should go now. That's so great.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So again, there was a problem with his vision. Beer's become too serious. In his eyes, it's just become a little too serious.
Yeah.
And so our fix, and this
can you hold on that slide real quick? Because sure. I think this is a great spot to kind of highlight. When you guys are doing these things, like notice too, he's got a ton of pictures in here. There's at least 9, right? Even though they're cropped off. But by darkening and just having that focus on the question there, beers become too serious, or that statement, it's a way of doing it where it's not overpoweringly crazy a visual, but by darkening this, I think is a great kind of tool, and it makes you laugh and go, God, you're right. Like, yeah, this is what beer has become. Now it's setting you up. It's literally a performance is what you're putting together.
Yeah. And even if you don't believe it, like I love a good pastry stout,
sure.
Whipped cream and beer, whatever, like fine, I'll drink it. But at least in this, he's the protagonist in this story. And our job is to come down, and this is how we save the day. This is the hero story that we're creating as these, designers, or whatever your sort of choice field will be. So there's the pain point. Beer has become too serious. It's not aligning with his vision. The fix, and this is, I didn't include, this was like 2 months of work before we got to the fix. This is your brand pillars, establishing the voice and tone. I'm not going to go into that because I think that's too much for the reader. And we're just going to go right to the fix.
Yeah.
We're putting the easy back in easy drinking. That's the slogan. That's the vision, the mission, everything aligned in one simple sentence.
Got it.
And I'm going to break that down. It's not about a light lager, right? It's a mindset. And this is sort of conveying this tone. Right now, we're starting to set parameters for this brand.
Yeah.
Our goal is to create a beer that is just approachable. It's create environments that isn't focused on the beer itself, but more of the feeling you get, right? The sense of nostalgia of just like, you can focus more on the important things when you're in a state of ease.
I want to freeze on this real quick because again, too, guys, I think if you think about your hotel boutique case study that you're building, a page like this would be perfect because I don't know if we really demanded this like focused of a thing here, but by saying this and finding a line like this that really works for your particular projects, it's setting up the reviewer to know, wow, now I know what to expect and how I'm going to judge you on that, right? Like, did you bring this to life?
Yeah.
So think about what kind of a line you can add to your case study, particularly on that, because this is all about experience. This is all about feeling and, emotion, all these great things. So think about that with your hotel and what kind of a line can you do like this, because it really, really is going to help, I think, just present the next slides, which become all your real deal stuff.
Okay? Yeah, Absolutely.
Yeah. And you can, yeah. And that slogan you guys came up with for sure. Right. But this is so great. This is literally when you say putting the easy back in easy drinking, like it's this idea of going, yeah, it doesn't have to be so serious. Oh my God, let's just chill. Okay.
Yeah.
That tells me what I'm going to get. So for you guys, it could have been the motto, it could have been the slogan, but you know, it's okay to retool things. Nothing's ever final. So if it's strong and you guys have come up with one, great. If you think it needs a little tweaking, here's a great example of what to kind of strive for.
Yep.
Cool.
Great. Yeah, man. Really well said. And so, yeah, so this is, and again, I haven't, and I should preface all this with saying I focus a lot in brand strategy as well as logo and everything, but brand as a whole. And so this case study is sort of an example of that. So I haven't even gotten to design. And in the process, when I was creating this, I didn't touch pen and paper at all. We're just figuring out what the brand is.
Yeah.
And this is what it ended up being.
And you should mention too how much of the copywriting came from you in that strategy. And I know Christine, you just asked that. That's why I want to mention that. If you are talking to that client and you're building that brief over and over and over again, right? Like you are the one. You've got this data. You've got this essence and ethos to talk about. And I think this is where it comes from. We can be good. Jordan and I always laugh, like we can write a good headline, but if it's 5 or 6 pages of copy, we're not your guy. not a chance. And we shouldn't have to be. But if you look at this, 90% of what you've seen so far is copy, is direction, is strategy. And that's what we're really trying to say. You get that in there now, a taste of this as a graduate student. Oh man, sky's the limit.
Yeah, and even to build on that, like any good logo has to come from somewhere.
Yes.
And so that's what I'm just doing. I'm making my design job just easier by setting myself parameters. So when I start to deliver logos, like, well, this fits all the criteria. We've already established the feeling, the spirit of this brand. This logo is translating that. I can sell it now through all the work we've already like confirmed, agreed on, and then moved forward. And so it really helps. This stuff is, and I think this is why I think, you know, clients who don't understand might project a number when they're asking for services. I think it's because they don't understand the work that goes into creating a logo. It's never just throw something in Illustrator and make it look good. It has to translate their vision, their beliefs in a successful way.
Perfect.
So we have our sort of creed here. We have the sort of soul of the brand, and now I'm going to start, you know, dancing in some of the design stuff. And for us, it's like, well, when we think about easy drinking, when we think about this, like in the sense of nostalgia, immediately we found inspiration like in the past, right? And so I think it's helping sort of, you know, revisit beer's role in the social system. So we're focusing on that communal activity, not the beer itself. And it's about human connection, no matter what. And people have, you know, I think nostalgia triggers everyone differently. But you throw in some just like a historic feeling, it's gonna trigger that a bit.
Yep.
And so initially, like, boom, our parameters are now gonna be set in like the past. All this like cool old black letter, like awesome script, right? Like everything's sort of like washed out tones. The colors are like there's a thematic and set parameters already, which makes our job easy and easier. So I have like I got my gutter blockers in the bowling lane. Like
I think you showed me kind of the original deck you sent out to them. And I saw how you took, I think it was you had close to like 50 or 60 pages at one point, right?
Yeah, my decks get a little crazy.
Yeah, he's a little wild. But I want to show you how he narrowed it down. It's like you, just by showing the best of the best in your inspiration, I think it really shows. There's a commonality, yet every single one of these is totally different. So if, again, you're setting the person up to go, okay, this is what I'm expect, this vibe, this feel.
Yeah, well, and case studies are different than a pitch deck. Like I'm always going to put more in there because I'm trying to sell something. This is me trying to explain the journey I took with this. So it needs to be digestible. Like whoever's going to read this, make it scannable, understand your space. Like I'm not going to throw in more than, you know, a 4-line paragraph because most people are just going to skim over it and look at the pictures. But if I have some space and I make it like there's purpose to this paragraph, the likelihood of them reading it is going to be higher, which is good because this is explaining everything they're going to see. So we're talking about, we got the vision, we got the brand pillars. Now we're getting to just the style and the look. And so immediately, boom, the next step I do is I'm sketching. And whereas I could throw a bunch of different sketches here, this is already, it's a longer case study for a website. So this is the sketch. It's a hero sketch. It's like everything you need to know. You see some of the stuff offset, like, okay, this tells the story already. I'm working on stuff and we found something. It's front and center. Like, this is what we like. We're going with this. And so this is also a rebrand, which maybe I didn't say, but in the beginning, we talked about a rebrand at the beginning of this. So this was their initial mark in the beginning. And then this is where we came from afterwards.
Cool.
Pretty simple, just facelift, right?
Yeah.
The pain point here is like, this thing doesn't scale down well. There's the example, like the weird spacing doesn't make sense. It's not within a grid. It's a little bit hard on the eyes.
Yeah.
So I just threw in a grid and made everything uniform and symmetrical and perfect, right?
Perfect.
Pretty
I was just gonna say, we didn't get around to we were hoping to do a rebrand project, but this whole thing has kind of spinned us for a totally different direction. But if you guys do have any rebrands or you are doing, that'd be a great little side project to do as an addition. If you're doing, this is a great example of showing not only was the rebrand just more aesthetically pleasing, but it had benefits. Just by showing it in that smaller scale, anybody will look at this and be like, wow, you're right. We're dealing with people that will not know the common things about graphic design. So by showing them this in plain black and white, no pun intended, but this is really clearly communicating it better than anything.
Well, it's these little things, like, again, you're putting yourself in the expert spot. Like, you want people to hire you because you know how to take a problem and fix it and solve it within your skill set. And this is just simply doing that in a very like immediate, digestible way. It's like, here's the issue. You can see the problem. Here's how we fixed it. One blurb explaining. Boom.
Yep.
And now we're going, and for there, we just built out a huge identity system. And I'm just showing bits and pieces here. Now we have the primary mark, that sketch we saw earlier, starting to give it some context.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's a huge system. We pretty much only use the primary, but we looked at like all these places in the past and how beer companies would utilize their branding systems back then. And it really was very fluid in a way that we're to transition to now. But again, primary mark is 90% of stuff. And then we might fill in some fun stuff, on a shirt or something.
Yeah. Do you guys see, like, this is probably one of the most expansive logo systems I think out there, which is so neat to see, because again, it puts you're so much more valued when you give them this amount of stuff to choose from and use and to create. And also too, you're putting together a richer, fuller package to charge for. Regardless of this is something you're doing at an agency or for yourself, there's just such good value there. And just looking through here, guys, I want you to look and see like font choices and other things like that. There's a commonality to everything, but yet things have a very unique and specific spin throughout, which is really cool. And it makes it easier for you down the road, right? Because you've got all this great library to choose from.
Yeah, and that was sort of the goal. Like, he knew we wanted to put out lots of fun content, lots of just stuff beyond beer. He's a big merch guy.
Yeah.
And so it was like, well, we don't just want to slap the logo on everything. That doesn't feel true to what he likes and true to sort of the parameters we set. Gotcha. And again, like, I wouldn't expect this. I wouldn't say this is like the package suite. Like, I really gave him this mark, a secondary, and then this. That's like if you're going to give your logo to anyone, that's what you're going to give them. Do not open any of this else. Like, we'll work with this. Just for other stuff.
Perfect.
So then we created a custom color palette, right? So I'm introducing more here. And one fun note that I try to convey to a lot of people when they ask me just like little tricks of branding is name your colors. You can name them anything. It doesn't matter, right? But every client I've done it with, it's just like one of those things, just like those little flavor injections that
they own it. They own it. Yeah.
Ownable. So everything is, and it's sort of like within that, retro mid-century like idealism with the names, the poly stuff, Tang. So name your colors. It's super fun and easy, and it is effective with the client. I find that do you
ever get it when they're like, hey, Jordan, we're going to do a t-shirt. Let's do it in Tang.
Well, and also we find that like, it's a big color palette, we're talking like 11 colors here. Though, we primarily use Shug Red. They're in Washougal, Washington. So that's the primary color. But when we're talking with like printers or if, Bolt and I are talking what color scheme, he's like, I really like, let's use like Mustang with smoke. Great.
Yeah.
You don't need to say like the middle blue one with
or blue too.
Slightly dark. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So naming them just
that's awesome.
Nice little trick. Boom. Slogan. This is something we're putting everything. We wanted to short down putting the Easy back in Easy Drinking. We use it, but we need something a little bit quicker to the tongue. And so Easy does it, play on words, really effective. And now we're getting into just like actual applications of the brand stuff. And this project in particular, again, we're putting it in a style of like mid-century. And in mid-century, like copywriting was kind of everything. Think Mad Men, right? It's about slogans. It's about just playfulness. And so I'm showcasing just all the sort of different slogans that we're putting in, and I'm showing the application of the brand and how to use it. It's like all these demos, like the kind of beer you bring home to your parents, right? Like it's just fun, silly stuff that also ties in the brand even more, gives things more context.
And talk about like the beer can added. So these were all your ideas to add to original photography that you've altered and changed, and you Photoshop like the beer can in the waterfall.
Oh yeah. Dude, you'll like that. That's a Dimension.
There you go.
Yeah, man. And I just put a little wash up. Dimension is super powerful. Yeah, exactly. It's not on here, but I have a few others that this Welcome to Beer Country became a theme. And
notice, guys, it's not just the same Easy does it over and over and over again. He's using different typography, different statements. So you have the, all these different things, the kind of beer you bring home to your parents, this is great. So it's not, again, we talk about logo slapping. There's also tagline slapping too. You can put that on everything, but don't just repeat it. Have some variety, have different things. And this is all free. Like, I know, Christine, you asked a little bit about just, how to improve your copywriting skills. I think a lot of it might even come from probably what you found in your reference and all of your research, right? Like that tells you the tone of voice to even go with,
Yeah, for us, it was like, the big one was, I think, I can't remember what brewery had it, but it was make it a whatever, right? Like, make it
like a Miller Night or something. Yeah.
We're like, we really like that just immediate, do this, like Nike, like do it. Like it's sort of just, it calls quickly. And so that was like the model of like, okay, we want it to be instructive and fun. It's all taking, and I mean, it's just really filtering. I think designers are creative people. And when you're creating a logo, like things are going on in your head. I'm writing down any idea. I'll filter through it later, but oftentimes it's not just like you looking at your anchor point and where to put it. And you're thinking of just where this brand could go. And in that, you're going to find little nuggets. Throw them down real quick.
Where do you find these? Where do you find your resources for image? So for something this specific, right?
This is awesome. Yeah. So typically you have to license stuff, or I'll go out and take them. Yes. But I can't take this. I don't know who this is. These are my parents. I don't live here. This one I found a royalty license-free site. I think it's called VintageStockPhotography.com. It has like, I don't know, 80 photos, right? And the brand doesn't use these as much. We try to use original stuff, but for this sake, this is all from that pitch deck, which makes case studies. Like if you build out that extensive pitch deck, you're going to have all those resources to just plug into your own shit, like Instagram, whatever. Like, and then too, I saw my clients were like, hey, all this stuff is usable. Let me know. I'm going to put it together in a file for you and like use it for your content because we built it.
Yeah.
So Vintage Stock Photography might be the website. I would Google it. There is one that all these came from. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I know keep in mind too, like when these are things that Jordan finds and let's say there's a cost to it, it might be worth the investment to do it, to win that account. And we get that could be a hefty price, but for you guys too, if it's just a student job, you could be finding this stuff for free. And hopefully if it's high res enough, it's up to you now he did a lot of work to granulize these and turn them into similar looking things that they came from the same campaign. So whatever you're finding for these case studies, particularly like the things you found in your hotel one, make sure the values are the same, that not one's like heavily saturated and then one's really faded. Like this is a great example of unity in the pictures that you're using.
Yeah, which helps with your established color palette. And I know you guys did an awesome, Brad Woodard came in and did his color.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's sort of that principle. Like everything has an overlay of the same color.
Totally.
Like this weird off tan. And so that helps tie in all these photos, which they are pretty different. Like I know that this old lady here and her husband, like those are the same camera, but this certainly isn't. And this wasn't either. But tying in that like overlay is really helpful just to immediately uniform everything.
Good.
And then adding, yeah, a little grit and stains and stuff, but that's just like easy Photoshop.
Yeah.
And then next thing I'm demonstrating is swag, because I also do a lot of merch stuff, and I want that to be present in my case study. So we're showing shirts, and we're showing little hats and patches, little fun mugs, pint glasses we made.
You better have a tote bag in here.
Don't have a tote bag.
You better not have a tote bag, I guess. You better respond.
And then the last thing I did help him with was the website, which is something else like,
Great.
dabble in. I don't promote it as much because, my coding is sort of elementary, but I can get enough by.
Yes.
So boom, we launched our website.
Great.
And then it's just finishing off with a couple things.
Also, to go back a little bit, I like just your headlines in between. I don't know if you guys noticed it too, where it says next we tackled merch, like just that kind of there. Just so in a case where you're not there to present this and your portfolio or your website speaking for you and you're not there, these are just great little things that are interjecting like the like there's a narration, like someone's guiding you through this in a way. And I'm fine with that. Like as long as it doesn't get into like a 3-line headline to introduce merch, all you need is this, something real simple and clean.
Yeah. I look at it like this sentence started above, right? It started sort of right. From there, we built out an extensive brand identity system.
Great.
The next part is and a custom color palette.
Yep.
Right. And then the next we tackle swag. So like that's the sentence, and I just inject it with the examples, the actual context.
Yes.
So you can see just immediately by that first example of mine, where it's just a bottle with pretty labels and photos.
Yeah.
It didn't tell any story. If someone were to see that, they wouldn't know if that was a successful design. They wouldn't know even what I did with it.
Yes.
I didn't tell them anything. It just went from the end result, which is not as engaging.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to see any more of this.
I think we might be. I think let's do a few questions because then we can get into their case studies.
I can't see the questions, but
no, don't worry, man. That's not for you. That's for me to monitor. Don't worry. I would rather you guys concentrate. So Raina was asking. This is a great question too. Like, so pitch decks and things like that. How far of an I know the answer to this, but I'm asking you. How far of an extreme do you go of work to land the account before the agreement?
Like before any contract is signed? Like
So I'm assuming that was your question, right, Raina? You're just saying like, to what extent do you go to land the account? So like, you're not doing all that upfront stuff, and all that discovery is after the agreement. Yes, exactly. Does that make sense, Raina?
It's not even agree. It's like, I want the contract signed.
Yes.
And I ask for a partial payment up front.
Correct.
And I negotiate that with whatever works. But
you don't give away anything for free.
Yeah, because they gotta look. If you want to get, their client wants to get in your calendar, like that requires. If I'm going to pencil something in or pen something in, well, then we have to finalize that.
Yes.
But I will say, like that being said, there's a ton of work that still goes into it before I land anything. It's not design, but it's let me explain the process, and this is what it looks like, and you know what I mean. And then like, okay, let's figure out how long you have, and okay, here's your budget. Okay, well then I can work with this many options. This many revisions. Like you're creating the whole scope. Usually that happens before you get paid. And it's a bummer when you don't get paid. And that's happened a lot for me, like just plenty of times when I started off.
Yeah.
So now it's like I have, templates to help me get by with that. I have my onboarding template, which has some examples of work. I have one that's for photography, one that's for brand, one that's for illustration, whatever. You start to build that out as you go on.
Yes.
But I wouldn't design anything before you got everything's agreed upon, meaning budget, contract signed, your time frame, all expectations are like completely laid out and you both signed.
I think a better answer to her question would be this. He landed it because he's building great case studies. So now this 5440 is going to show to the next potential client what level he goes to. And that's how you prove yourself. If he didn't have this and he just said, here's a can I did for 5440, that potential client would be like, I'd love to see more, right? So where you take the whole reason you're building the case study is for the next client. And that's the proof in the pudding. So I know from years prior, before having the case studies that were very rich, I was having that problem landing the account because I wasn't showing them the breadth of work that you can do. So keep that in mind. Case studies are there for the future, 100%.
Well, that's why they're hiring you, right?
Yeah,
like your job is it's not to make them a pretty t-shirt or a can. It's these clients have pain points. These guys, they have a problem, and your job is to fix that problem through the skill set they're hiring you for, which
Exactly.
oftentimes is just a design.
What other questions, guys, before we move into your case studies? Anybody got something they want to talk about? Crickets. raise your hand. Narek.
It can be anything. It doesn't have to be pertinent to just case studies.
Go ahead, Narek.
Is the sketch of your logo, is that like a real sketch, or did you kind of like fake it afterward?
That's a super good question. That one is a real sketch, probably, and it's like if I zoomed out of this, you'd see that probably repeated, 20 times in the worst way. This is where I was like, all right, I need to start making little guides. It's more refined than the first one of that. Like, I'm not going to show my first ones are blobs next to blobs just to figure out spacing.
Yeah.
This is more refined, not as refined as like, just tracing something and then putting it on, which, look, designers do that. I get it. If you don't have a sketch, try to sketch it on your iPad and just throw it in there. Like, it helps. It's telling the story. But it helps that, like, I start pen and paper for every project.
Yeah. I like the fact that the graph paper to me makes, I think, any sketch look even better in a way, right? Like, I love the way I really wanted to highlight this too, because we've been talking about, how do you put your sketches in here? And here's just a perfect way. It's cropped nicely. It goes with the flow of the rest of it. It's not this foreign object, And you show that one that you have.
Because look, if your sketches don't look good, another trick I do is, like, again, I mentioned it, like, I'm just going to screenshot an artboard in a couple ways, and then maybe like my Procreate sketch, which are way more refined than my pen and paper.
Yeah.
So that's another way to get around that, like, process stuff. If you don't feel comfortable showing your sketches, and I totally get it, that's a good way to do it.
That's a good way.
Where everything sort of,
yeah. And then just as just a matter of, like, timing, when you got all the assets ready to go, how long does it typically take you to build something as extensive as, let's say, the Beer One or Century Tree here?
Look, case studies are the worst. There's a reason why, like, I only have a couple on my website because they take a long time. Yeah. The tricks I find, and I'm finding later on now, is sort of, I treat it like my logos, where before I do a case study, I'm going to sketch out exactly what I think things should go where. Like, I know my formula, that thing I said in the beginning, I kind of know. So I'm sketching where I'm going to plug stuff in. Yes. But yeah, it takes time, but it's a return investment, because this is how we market. In my opinion, yes, Instagram works, social media is great, but for me, while I might get more job offers through Instagram, I'd say 90% of them I don't take or even look at, because it's just not the clients I want. The clients I want have some value in what we do, and this is what they would want to see. This is if they appreciate this, then it's worth making, because these are the clients I want to work for.
Yep.
So to answer your question,
it's like 30 minutes a day when you're trying to squeeze it in to get it done, right? It's not like you're gonna. It's really hard too if you have billable hours to squeeze this in. You got to do it late at night. You got to do it in that 30-minute window that you have one day, and maybe it's 3 days. But his point is very smart. It's the return on investment. You don't get the better and bigger things until you take the time and build it right. And for you guys, it's the same thing. You don't get the great job or the better job at the beginning, or stand out to even get an interview at this point, until you've done this. So it's so important to make sure, and remember, guys, I'm showing you 1,000 versions in 1,000 ways. There's no one way to do it. I'm trying to give you guys all this good variety to see how other designers have done it successfully. So you can take it and build it. I think it's just real simple to build the simplest structure, look at it from 10,000 feet, and then get into some of those details once you've laid it out,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Anybody else real quick?
Hi guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have a question. I have this kind of like creative poster design that it's not about movies or anything like that. It was just kind of creative poster. Mm-hmm. I was wondering how we can make it a case study, like how we can make that, like, we solve a solution, or the process, because I didn't even draw anything, so it was just kind of like a Photoshop thing.
I would first say, one, is it good enough to be in your portfolio?
I
right?
think it
Like,
is.
okay.
I like it. So
Then your second thing is I think you nailed it by saying, turn it into a movie, turn it into a book, turn it into something that you could take to this level, right? And this goes for a lot of you who have maybe a project from another class or maybe from last year before you were senior, that it was a great piece, but it's not enough. So turn it, look for all these examples. Can it become an event? Can it become a gallery show? Can it become, like I said, a movie or a book, something that you can build a ton of applications for? And then you're making it all up. You really are. It's faking it till you make it 100%. So if you like it enough, I would say turn it into something bigger and better.
so gotcha. But so something else. So I have this kind of like poster design about Bonnie and Clyde,
Okay.
which is like I think I should just use that one and not use both of them for this project or any case study.
Just if that's one that you like and it's an original art you did, I would just expand on it until you've made enough pieces to do that. If it's a smaller case study, that's okay, right? Maybe you have one or two that are a little bit more expansive and a little bit more detailed. That makes sense?
So which one you want me to go?
Well,
you think it's better to go?
I'll look at it. You can send them to me and until I see them, bro. Yeah. So let's do that. Okay.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. How do you know when it's right to show mockups next to images, whereas 5440, where you showed all mockups together? I think at some point it's a matter of what you have at that time to build with, right? Do you have an actual piece? Do you have mockups? It might be a mixture of both.
Yeah. A lot of that 54 stuff, fortunately, was photos we took, especially at the merch, where it wasn't mockups. How do you know when to show mockups to images? Because to me, mockups and images should be kind of the same thing. Whatever you put in, think about like less is always going to be more. And for me, it took a long time to figure out, like my case studies used to be as big as my decks, where no one was reading it by, the 15,000 scroll. It's still going. It's madness. And immediately they're like, wow, this guy, I assume the impression is this guy just has too much to say. Like it's going to be a whole lot. So
exactly.
You got to condense it, and you have to be like reserved about what you put in there. Make sure everything you include is, I think it's got to be the hits, your best stuff, and it's got to contribute to that story. Whatever it is, it's got to contribute to, your personal goals. Case studies are interesting because you're showing, again, the pain points and the goals you created with the project, but also being self-aware enough to like sell yourself beyond that, like abilities, skill sets, right? So I'm going to show the best looking stuff.
Yeah.
Not only, that ties into the overall brand and the story, but like it just shows stuff I'm capable of, like the website.
Yeah.
The only thing I only included that because it's something I can provide, and maybe I'll get some bites on it later on.
Cool. Jaleesa, you were saying something about videography, meaning how to showcase something you've did in video or motion?
Yeah. How are you supposed to lay out something that's a moving object, like a video or a motion graphic or just a little GIF or something?
People do reels. I think that's probably the most common way, right? So I do video stuff, but it's not something I've ever like done a reel or case study for. That's a fair question. I would say it's probably real, but I'm not sure if that's within my totals, wheelhouse. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I think if you have a series of stuff that are in one brand, or if it's a case study and then one element is in motion, or are you talking about a full case study of multiple videography things?
Like if a client hired you to do a commercial for them.
Oh, well then again, you could do the whole sit down, the script writing, the storyboarding, a few shots of the production. Like if you have shots of people that were filming the production live, indoors, outdoors, or whatever. Again, it's the same model, right? It's just, and then you show maybe some of the editing screens and like how complicated it was, or the sound choice, and then you show your final,
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You started from the same point as any other project here, right? There was a blank canvas. There was nothing there, and they gave you a challenge. And then, just like Jordan said, what was the pain point? What was the thing they hired you to make that video for? What was it solving for them? And as long as you do that, and now it's just a different media. You know, that's all it is. But I think that's even funner because I love showing that kind of stuff, like storyboard, anything else like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So perfect.
And if you're going to put it like on your portfolio, you know, obviously put the full video so someone will click. But in my head, I'd be like, well, not everyone's going to click. So I'm going to maybe throw in loop GIFs.
Yeah.
Of something there you go. Right. So like, which again takes time. You got to bring that footage into whatever Premiere, whatever you're editing with, and then export and create GIFs. So like, but I think if you're just stacking GIFs with imagery, some paragraphs explaining what you're going to see, keep it easily digestible and scannable. That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I would think.
And I think I agree with you, Raina. Like the idea that like you should always have photographs or behind the scenes things happening while you're making something. Obviously you can't go back in time. So anything you're doing in the future, take a moment, have someone take a snapshot of you or take a snapshot of you in progress or just your work. You know, you make a little folder called BTS for behind the scenes, and now you've got all that stuff ready to go when you build your case study. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Nice. Awesome. Awesome. True. All right. Perfect. So let's get into these. I think we have 12 here. Let's see, maybe what we'll do is see how many we can get through now. And if not, we can continue on Wednesday with the rest, or we could do some one-on-ones, but let's see how many we can get done here. Let me go to share screen and here. All right. Let me know when you guys can you guys see it?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. All right, Jacob.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So perfect. I think this kind of runs through here. So you got this all vertically. Are these individual pages, or are you just going to do it in the vertical route?
I was thinking about doing it vertical.
Okay.
Right now.
Cool. So perfect. So this is great. You're starting with your deliverables, a little bit about the project. Okay. And then introducing the final piece here. Jordan, what's your thought about like, this is so mixed and I think everybody has a different opinion, but you had like your final logo up at the top, right?
Yeah.
It didn't debut way down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. I often do it, like put the final result first. Just like I think that's great because then you're going to break it down. Yeah, I'm definitely all for that.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Cool. Perfect. So they chose like the archetypes to kind of pick from, the brand archetypes.
Cool.
You know, which is great. Looks cool. This is looking pixelated. Is it just the resolution you saved it as, Jacob? Where's he at?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know why. I guess maybe because it's one PDF or JPEG.
Oh yeah, you might have saved it down a bit in this file size, but just make sure you know your one for May 2nd is nice and clean.
Yeah.
Oh, this looks good. What do you think, Jordan?
I'm into this.
Nice?
This is great. Yeah. Telling a story. Yeah.
Good. That
Do you
looks
think
great.
I should add more about like this is the process like you had, like this section is blah 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 kind of thing, and this section is like breakdown of our logo kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, if you have that sort of information, especially with like, you know, how's that logo tying all this stuff in? Because I like this stylescape here. I like what you have going. But yeah, I would love to know, like, you know, you started with like, why Zephyr? Obviously, I get the floating, but like, give me that reason other than that initial paragraph.
Yeah.
Yeah, just little blurbs of like this at this point in time. This is what I was thinking.
So this could be even like discovery, right? Or brand archetypes, and then you get here. It's like mood board or brand board. Also, what I like about those two, and we talked about this when we do slides in class, guys, is it's a cue for what you're gonna say here. Just so you have, it's almost like cue cards, and I love those when you're meeting someone and you might be a little bit kind of like, you know, anxious to get through here. It'll help you slow down. It'll help you kind of explain each piece. Then here you can go into the process or, you know, my sketch work. You know, this looks great.
Yeah,
I like that. Cool. Yeah, nice. Oh, the old shady tree mock-ups. Love these.
I'd be careful with contrast on that left.
Yeah. And it might be a lot.
It might be. That's like, again, the first thing I'm thinking about, and one of the biggest takeaways is like scannability. Mm-hmm. That's how hard, like that's gonna be hard to just immediately scan over.
Like this grabs my eye and I love it. So maybe what you do is go full screen with this, and then right below it, you can put that copy here in a nice, more, not such a narrow column, you know?
Okay.
and then maybe edit it back and get that contrast like Jordan said.
And also that paragraph, I mean, what are we talking? I haven't read it, but like from what I've seen, like it's maybe talking about what Zephyr is. Is that sort of that?
Well, this is just a filler right now. So I could see what it would look like. I was thinking, to have those like page breaks almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nice page breaks in between. I like that. Mm-hmm. Cool. So again, here, this is setting the tone a little bit of what it might look like. So think of what Jordan just did. Instead of just showing these, maybe the idea here is, do you put 3 really beautiful written like mottos or lines that say something about it, just like he had done. So in addition to your motto or your tagline, give me 3 things that you can put over these that will help romance it a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. That'd be great, because I don't want you to, like, what we've been seeing in a lot of the portfolio reviews, and I'm not a stickler for this, but I saw some of the others do this. They said, and they go, well, did you take these pictures? And then the student said no. And they're like, well, why are these in your portfolio? Right. And I don't want you to be caught with that. So you can say, these were some sourced images that are going to give the viewer an idea of what to expect, and overlaying these are some of our mottos. See what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think it'd be better to have like 1 or 2 of these in throughout the whole case study, and then use like those motto kind of photos you had with yours and put it kind of things in? It's not like a mock-up, but it'd be more of like a idea,
a little lifestyle break, right?
You can use.
Yeah, well, like at the top you had sort of, you're breaking down like caregiver. How many were there? Because like if there's 3, okay, there's 2.
Oh,
maybe I just focus like 2 photos. One kind of showcases caregiver. Maybe you come up with a slide that fits that, and the other innocent. So maybe innocent. I guess I get that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, but so maybe it's 2 photos, and this is like tying into this establishment that you put up before. Everything should call out something that's like being established. Where like lifestyle photos are great, but having like a tag or having some sort of like, maybe you throw up a balloon or Zephyr. I don't know, like just have them tie into the brand somehow.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be neat if you could show, like, to me, these 2 or the mountain one and either one of the sea ones would be interesting to say, and the headline says something like, just turn 180 degrees and it's a whole other environment. You see what I mean? Like, we give you everything from the mountains to the sea. So like, maybe there's something you can do there by saying, like, just by turning, you're in a whole other environment.
I had an idea for, like at the airport, you see those like big posters that have like the location. It's like, come visit here, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's demoing, and you should definitely do that, because again, that's immediately selling the brand and telling a different story, a better story that you want, right? Like, this is how the brand is applicable. This is how you can use it, right? Because in case studies, or if you ever do like pitch decks and stuff, that's the kind of stuff people want to see. Like, show me the context, show me it demoed in reality. And I think that's a great idea for mock-up signage, like in the subway or airport. I love it.
Yeah, that's great. All right, cool. So now you're getting into some of the applications and everything. Again, too, I think keep a consistent vibe of how this might be way too much.
I would go half and half, honestly. Like, and I know that, well, I guess if the design work is the hero, then nix the text, or maybe a 2-sentence paragraph, but figure out what you want people to see first. Because if it's the design, like the right is a little distracting, just because it's a weird orientation. 3 words per line is hard, sometimes 1. I would just think about the layout. I know it's filler right now, but I would say, like, do you need it? Sometimes you don't.
Maybe also too, you can do Breeze milk, and you say, this is our home delivered, or our everyday delivered milk at Zephyr. Something as simple, very, very simple. Like, tell me what this is. Because I think you told us that when you did the presentation, that this would be at everyone's door each morning.
Exactly.
There you go. So tell that story right there. And then you need 1 sentence. That's it. Yeah. Because this looks so great. And I want you to get this more, maybe you tilt it a little bit more so it goes more like 45 degree. And like Jordan said, you can fill this space a little bit more. Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Love it. Very cool. Is that all? That's where you've gotten to, right?
No, I don't know why. I guess maybe because it's one.
Oh, is there more?
Yeah. Can I share screens and show it, or?
Oh, let's see. Maybe let me download it and see if I can get it that way. Okay. All right. All right, let me get to share. Desktop. Where did it go?
I see it.
Oh, here it is. All right, cool. Let me make it a little bit smaller. Whoa. Man, this got big. Let's make it. Oh, there we go. Oh, I made it too small. I knew. Sorry there, guys. There. Stop. All right, cool. Cool. All right. Sorry, guys. Let's grab this here. Oh, yeah. This is showing up much crisper and cleaner. That's probably.
How big is this file?
I know. It must be huge, man. I think it was 31.
I think so, yeah.
Not terribly big, but let's.
But yeah, I would try to get, like, and Draplin said it perfectly, like, get that stuff as small as you can. Don't think, like, I usually have a working file and then, like, one I might send, which nothing's alive. It's all single imagery, really compressed.
Gotcha. Yep. So again, like, yeah, this looks great too. Like, I think obviously our overall comment is these text blocks. Just let this really sing. And again, here you introduce your new line. This is the line of Bath and Body Works that are in each room, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let that sing a little bit more, and just be careful with these. So use them a little less, and when you do, add some application to them, kind of a la what we saw with Jordan and some of that cool copywriting on top of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That looks great, dude. This looks really nice. Really clean.
This is great.
Cool.
I like the pattern.
Yeah. Cool. And then this is like, I think this would be great to, like, now say the after dark or at dusk or whatever you want to call this, because it drastically changes, but you can fix that by just having, on there. So that looks great, dude. Really nice. Cool. What do you guys think? Good? Yep. Not pixelated anymore. Great. Yeah. Looks good, dude. Great first shot. Great first shot.
Yeah, man. Really cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Let's go here. And let me stop share. I'm going to go to share screen. And there. Perfect. All right, cool. All right. Who's up next? All right. Cool. Christine, you ready with IKEA?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So we'll run through it real quick, and then maybe let's go through it once, and then we can go back and kind of look through it. Awesome. Oh, nice. Love that. That looks great. Got your process in there. Cool. Process is really, so is this hard to, are you doing these in slides, or are you doing this as a scroll down? Are these pages?
So I did it as one long artboard, but then I couldn't upload it onto my website. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do like multiple slide images instead.
Cool. So perfect. So I'll go back here. So perfect. You're talking about, it's called rejuvenation. You're giving us the objective of what was going on here with IKEA, customer-centered products. I love that. That's great. So this is good too. Just having a little hierarchy. Again, too, it's going to help you in talking about it, which is great. So I love having that, because when you bold things, I know exactly, that reminds me what I got to say, which is great. This is good too. Okay. You might also benefit from having, if you want to include something in some of these breaks to help, just maybe, so if process is down here, maybe, unless it's on the same page, and this is going to be a scroll down, maybe put process here, right? And then you get into your sketches. So it's just the delivery, right?
Okay.
Cool. But this looks good. Awesome. And then you get into, why not? Okay. So maybe, what do you think about showing, why did you just go with the one SKU, and then this about why not go all the way into the whole thing? Was the idea to, like, say, we did this, but then we continued and did more?
First, it was because that shot only had the front view. And then also I felt like, because I looked at a lot of case studies, and a lot of the times in between a lot of like text, they put another shot of the product to just keep the interest of the viewer.
Got it.
So I tried doing that.
Okay. Because we haven't seen everything yet, right? Let's see. Okay, so we saw that there at the very top. Okay. Cool. So I'm thinking, I wonder if it's just make sure you feel confident with the way it's all in that order and how you're doing it, you know?
Right.
So that now you're saying, why not go all the way? These lines of products also feature a small, okay, cool. Perfect. So that looks great. Maybe it could just be a little bit more of a Cliff Note version of it, right? So like in here, you just say, now we include instructional illustrations on the back of each to go with the IKEA feel and vibe, you know, and then you get here and then you have all this fun stuff to show off, you know?
I love the instructions.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
that's so good. And then the custom UPC codes, that looks great. Cool. Nice. I would love to see, let me see this one. Yeah, like this one to me, I love this, that full one. I think we're seeing it. It might be nice to see this again, all three super nicely arranged, but maybe with just a simpler background later down there.
Okay.
Because it's like, I almost forgot what about those. And then you see them here, but you're showing the backs, right?
Right.
So one more of that with the white, and I think would really look nice. But I love the blocking. Everything looks really good. The colors feel nice and comfortable and inviting. It looks great.
Thanks.
What do you think, Jordan? Any suggestions?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're touching on all the right stuff. I might condense this first section, given I didn't read it, right?
Yeah, well, you're a good perspective here because you're just like any reviewer.
Sure. I mean, this seems fine. I think I might, where you talked about remove, I don't know if you need to say the backs have illustrations when you show it. I think it's so self-explanatory where maybe either way less or just cut the copy entirely, right? Because you're essentially showing something that you're showing something that you're showing.
Yeah.
You're like talking about what you're doing. So I would either make it more process driven or maybe just cut that one section. Like that might be unnecessary copy. But this right here looks great. I think the sketches are awesome.
Even blow them up more.
Yeah.
Blow them up more. Like, it looks, these are really great. It's fun to see that process too. I think everyone wants to see that.
Yeah, it feels super cohesive.
Yeah, awesome. Good. Well done. Love it.
Really
anybody from you guys? Yep, you're a baller.
Thanks.
Jose, you made it back, dude. I'm just seeing you for the first time. Sorry, man. You doing good?
Yeah. I'm good now.
Awesome. All right, man. Welcome back, dude.
Thank you.
All right, Joseph.
So I did my UX UI project from
great, man. Ago. By the way, for those of you in that field or hoping to get a few reviewers in there, we've got 2 or 3 that are just phenomenal in UI UX that we just got today for portfolio reviews. So I'll make sure to recommend them to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. So advisor appointment app. Okay, cool. Maybe what I would suggest is a little more, and I know there's so many different ways to present these. So, I see a lot of them throughout different case studies and stuff, but I wonder too, if like giving a little more of a sell at this first one, right? So give me an idea, sum up the app for me in one sentence.
It makes appointment, scheduling more easily for CSUN students.
Oh, okay, perfect. Even so you maybe have it in the hand of a student at CSUN, and it's like students never have to worry about appointments again. Do you see what I mean? Like,
yeah, or even something simple like never miss a class or whatever it's geared towards, like be on time, just some immediate takeaway.
Yep.
I do like the idea. It'd be fun to also like maybe adjust the red for a different contrast and try to tuck them behind the phone if you use that image. Or like Nick was saying, I think it'd be cool to put it in context with like a student on a campus.
Yeah, I mean, find a great picture of the Oviatt, you know, and put this. Get that when you bring in the student, I know exactly who you're talking about, right? And then think of this as your billboard, right? What's going to stop someone driving by to take a look and read it? So put in the advantage right at the beginning. You see what I mean? Okay. So then you get into here, and this is great. So then you got your problem, your hypothesis. This is great. If you want to, you know, if you feel like this is just the right amount of copy, so I would say you can maybe make the type size just a little bit bigger. So one, it's easier to read. What's nice is you edited it to just the right amount, and then bold a few things in there to help you as the presenter, right? 70%, you know, whatever it is, something. What are those benefits? Bold those, and now you've got great things to talk about. Okay. Cool. So then we're going into here. Now it feels like a little big here, so you can shrink it down. I think it's just about being a little bit conscious of each page and kind of understanding here. And then you got a big space and a very little amount of text. So like just balancing your feel out a little bit more. Okay.
And maybe capitalize Ashley for some reason. I can't stop. But everything else, I'm feeling, but like that's the first thing.
And make sure your paragraphs are, you know, when you do the bullet, you got to make sure your leading you got more space in between the paragraphs, and that you have a shift on your secondary lines. Okay.
I love that you're laying everything out though. I mean, this is awesome, right? Like the frustration, pain points.
Look at Robert. He's the baller. That's what you see. So now make sure, you got your types changing a little bit. So make sure you're good here. Okay. As far as anybody else that's doing doing anything in this persona thing, do you guys have any tips or ideas, or like, is he missing anything? Help me out, because I know I see a lot of these, but I just want to make sure we're catching everything. You good with it? Cool. Okay. Cool. Okay. So then you got your sitemap. I think to be honest with you, Joe, I think there might be a cleaner way to do it with, you know, I don't know if there's something you could do a little more interesting in either the border and the type choice for overall, just so it's not Helvetica and blocks, right? Give me something. I don't know. I always see these, and they're typically with like the XD style rounded boxes. It's just a little softer on the eye, you know?
Yeah, you could thin them out, maybe make the lines dividing like a small slatted stroke or something. Like I would definitely, I think the problem is the thickness of the stroke is really contrasted on the thinness of the type.
I see.
Yeah. I would try to just scale it down a little. That might even help you immediately.
Yes.
It's not bad by any means, but and also I don't really know what I'm talking about with UIs, so this is all coming from like
you got the biggest UI UX guys out on the market right now.
You would just make things thinner, smaller. Great.
Don't computers just do this for you? Come on. You have a great point. Yeah, you design your data. You know, your data can't. You're still the designer. You're still communicating your ideas here. So design this stuff. Don't just leave it to be as simple as this, but that line weight and everything, really, really break it up. Okay. And this one too, like this is a great idea to show this versus that, but you know, your lines don't have to be all the way. Like I would cut your lines. They shouldn't go to the end. Make this comfortable. This graph can be so much more easier to understand. And those, maybe your type is way too thin. Cause like you had a great point here. Here you got the border super thick and the thin line, a thin type. Here they match. They're almost of the same weight. So give the viewer a break. You know, let them see this easy and make your spacing perfect. Okay. This has to be perfectly centered in those lines. Okay. So is this going to be a video or
that's just a link
motion
prototype? But I can also add a link to the video.
Sure. Do that. Have something in there, even if it's a still, and then you click on it to show your prototype. That'd be fine.
Make it look like a button, maybe too.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Right.
Little call to action. Perfect. Yep. And then again here, I mean, just to, get alignment, right? Space between the bullet and that. The bullet looks so heavy and then the type is super, super light. Okay. So once you find the right thing, make that your model for everything you do, right? You copy that block and use it again, or you make it a format. So believe me, people get that picky. They will be like, this is driving me crazy. Put some space here. Why is it bold? We have good people coming. Don't worry. Jordan's one of them, by the way, guys. Jordan is coming to Portfolio Review as well. So definitely hook up with him. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So I like, this is great, dude. I would just say you've got a great model. You're laying out all the right stuff, but I also too, this is going to show this is the guts. This is where you're showing the app in action, right?
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
But how do I show it on a PDF? Do I just show it on my website or?
Guys, anybody have a tip on that? So as a PDF, would it just be something he would click to, and then do you go to XD? Do you show a prototype that way, or what would you do? Anybody?
I've seen that people have like the map of the prototype, like the lines to go to each page.
Yes.
I know that like some you can like zoom in if like that, or you can do like a screen record video.
Yes,
I've seen that.
Go. Perfect.
And then like you can just put the MP4 on if you're doing a website. If you can just put the MP4 on the website and play a video.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, screen record would be great, or doing whatever, upload that video to your website. When you have this, let's say you have this, you're going to click to it on the present for your portfolio review, Joe. Have that open in a tab somewhere. So when you click on it, it goes right to it. Maybe it's already in the cache. So it's ready to go. There's no stall. Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's see who we got next. All right, guys, get him in here. Jose. All right. Whips. All right, are you with us, bro?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so we're gonna go. So this is how did you build it? Are you building it in Pages, or do you want this to be a scroll down?
Well, I don't know yet, because this was not supposed to. I just started working on this this week, because it was not supposed to be a case study. It was just like work I was doing for another class.
Okay.
But I don't know. I kind of like it, and I actually want to turn it into a case study, but it's still like just I've been working on some illustrations and stuff.
Okay. Cool. So let's go through real quick. I just want to see what you did. Cool. So I feel like you've got a few elements. You haven't really built it yet. The case study. I think what you have in what I'm seeing here is really cool. What I would just suggest is you've got like all the stuff to populate, right? In the glamour stuff. But what I would start doing now is when we go back here, one, I think you never show it with a black drop shadow anywhere on these. And when I see it here, I don't think it needs it. So be consistent with the way you are showing your logo, first of all, right? And now what you're going to do is give me an idea. So I love that you did this on the side, and this is something you're totally doing. To Jordan's point, what is the pinpoint here? Why was Whips created?
Oh, okay. So I was going to put that, but I didn't. But the whole point of this is so Yoplait has their whole branding thing.
Yes. But
it's kind of ugly. Like I don't like it. It's kind of like what is it? Chobani used to have.
Yes.
Where their logo is kind of very symmetrical.
Okay.
I don't know. It kind of didn't represent what Chobani was. So they did a rebrand. So I kind of wanted to do like a sub-brand type of thing for Yoplait, but I don't know.
Perfect. So you're saying you're giving Yoplait an extension brand to be a little more whimsical and fun.
Right. Correct.
But maybe to attract a younger audience, right?
Yeah.
So that's your goal. Okay. That's what you're going to build. Like everything we looked at when Jordan was showing his, that pinpoint was to just make beer easy again, right? To make it relaxed. You're doing the same. You're doing something cool. You're saying Yoplait is doing fine, but they're missing an opportunity with younger, maybe you can even call it Gen Y or whoever, consumers. Your
Right.
idea here is to give them a fun, clean, and whimsical brand. That's what you can build from that. You see what I mean?
Correct.
So you go right into this. I think what you got to do is show a little bit about your sketch work, how you got there, what your inspiration was, right?
Right.
And give us that. And then like you got the cool stuff. Then I would show kind of like what, show the individuals fruit icons, how it works. And then you can go into all these glamour shots, which is great. Okay. So got to have a purpose is all I'm trying to say. And I think that's what I would start working on is sketch out that vibe, what you think it's going to be, and then build it based on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to ask Jordan, when it comes to just the whips thing here, any tips or tricks? Like I like this font choice. I think too, it plays off the success of what Chobani's had. They had that like fat, almost syrupy kind of. Yeah. Right.
I think.
What do you think? Anything he can do?
We go to just that first logo. I know, just so I can just do logo.
But yeah, there you go.
Playfulness, so here's the one rule of thumb I try to do if I'm going to use a type that's already set, like a font for a logo, you're going to want to customize it in some form. Change it just a little. Try not to ever make your logo the font that someone else can just type and use. And so and when I look at whips, immediately my head was like, what if you took the dot on the I and made it that universal whip, shape, right? Maybe, and now you got something to play with, like that shape, right? Of that, like dollop of whipped cream or yogurt or something. Maybe that's something you start to play with, that divides color, that try to keep universal. But I would play a little bit with the logo, just how can you customize it a little? Because it's pretty cool. It feels yogurty, it feels fluid, kind of fun, right? So maybe start there, but it's looking pretty good. I mean, the Greek yogurt definitely feels Yoplait, right?
Yeah. One thing I saw that the folks that did Chobani, their big thing was that they wanted the font and the lettering and the typography to feel like it had the smoothness of yogurt, right? It's always billowy and soft.
Yeah.
And I wonder too if just softening these little harsh corners that you have, rounding them a little bit, and then what Jordan said, get in that cool little whip kind of thing for the dot on the I. That would just look so cool.
Yeah, because in your head, whip seems light, right? It seems fluffy. That's the message I assume we're trying to convey with that name. And you're also lucky with whip, the I's in the middle. So whatever you put there, maybe that can be your icon later on, or maybe you can use that in a pattern or something, just that shape. You can do a lot once you get a shape, and then tie it throughout all the brand in different ways. So you're lucky, that I's front and center. So whatever you put there can be, I think that'll be the immediate takeaway. Which is cool, which I think is definitely a luxury of having that word.
I also think you said light and airy. That was cool. What if one or two of the letters almost felt a little floaty? They were not on the same baseline? Because my one thought would be you don't want someone to be oh, it was so heavily inspired by Chobani. One thing they don't do is they're not doing that light and airy and that whipped thing. So if the I and the H were a little bit off, we're trying. Okay. So give that a shot, but start really building out now the layout of how you're presenting this. I love the end result. Show us how you got there. Okay.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
So great, man. They really do. The mock-ups are cool.
Yeah, dude. Was this did you find this one? Was this a yellow image or something?
I found one that was just one of the yogurt things. Good. And then I actually had to mess with the PSD file because it was all the shadows were kind of
great,
flimsy and stuff. But
perfect.
I mean, I'm gonna keep working on it. This is just the final stuff, which is what I showed in class. But
I can't see the detail here. But this thing about youth, is that something specific, or what's this little badge?
It's just a badge I found on the FDA page because for the organic stuff and all that.
Okay. What I would suggest is instead of that, make the badge that relates back to what we were saying, the fun yogurt, the fun Greek yogurt, the light and air, the light and airy yogurt, something that's more reflective of what we talked about at the very beginning.
Yeah, and maybe just watch contrast, like the yogurt on that blue on blue, red on red. You know, you get away with it a little bit with the white drop shadow, but maybe there's a way just like tweak those blueberries and the fruit like off,
just so it's not overlapping there,
just
right?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, that's like dissection right now, but
yep.
Those are those little things that are like any client, like, you know, that would be the first thing they want is contrast, legibility immediately. But it looks great.
All right.
We'll really build that out, Jose, because trust me, I've seen how, you know, you can have this beautiful thing at the end, but unless you show the reviewers how you got there, man, it's like, I want you to get the full credit for it and take them through that process. So when they see this, they go, damn, love it. Yes, that connects all the dots. Okay?
Will do. Yes.
You got it, buddy.
Thank you so much.
You got it, man.
Thank you, Jordan.
Okay. All right. Cool. She's doing the Chevron case study.
Nice.
All right.
Progress though. Like kind of where I want to place things.
Okay.
Heads up, not everything's there.
Is this a page by page, or are you going to do the scroll?
It's page by page, but it's going to be in a scroll. So once
okay,
adding it together.
Okay. So again, I think here it would be okay to hint a little bit of the finished product, the packaging. Like maybe you just have them kind of peeking in here, full color.
Okay.
Right. And that, and then like, just see what you think. Cause I love to see just something that's going to tell me a little bit about it. Right. Okay. Perfect. So now you're getting in, let me make this a little bit bigger so we can see. There we go. Love this. This looks great. Yeah. This is so neat because like, again, you found these, like, these were the pillars of the brand and how you made it relatable to the actual one. Okay. Real quick. So product designing does not live in the industry. Okay. So you could change this. And I know this was the objective of the project in class, but maybe here just say the project description be like Chevron wanted to capitalize on their brand equity and create a line of health products for their consumers to enjoy. You see what I mean?
Okay.
Because that was the challenge of the project, but now this is your case study. What did you do for Chevron? Not what you did for our class. You see what I mean? Yeah. Then you got it. And then you can say, I found these and there was something unique about each one. Because these all influence like what the products were going to be, right? Your icons, these different things that you found, like right?
The packaging.
Cool. Okay. So then this is going to be your big shot of dimensions work.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Oh wait, what's this with no artwork? What do you mean?
Yeah. So you know how when you put the model on dimensions and it's just a flat model and doesn't show anything, just so they can see kind of the model itself.
Okay.
Models I'm going to be using, and then I'm going to go into the actual packaging with my work and stuff.
Gotcha. I would say unless you custom made those models, it's probably not enough to highlight. Do you see what I mean?
Okay.
Like we saw that one, I think we looked at that one student work last week, and he showed how he investigated all the different styles of packaging until he chose one that was a little on the custom side. Being that these are just dimension models, I wouldn't worry about this, okay? Unless you're saying, I chose this for efficiency, I chose this for it's eco-friendly, unless it has some benefit. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, cool. So then I think it would be smart to maybe show a sketch or two in this zone before we get here.
I was gonna add sketches and color palette too.
Great. So replace this with that. Okay. So then you go into here. This looks great. Very cool. Love how, God, everything looks so clean. It's really nice.
Change something.
Say again?
Change something on the packaging. Someone called it out for me.
What's that?
Octave instead of octane. It's an N instead of a.
Oh, Octave. Octavia Spencer collection. It's getting late. Yes, octane. Good. I know, Raina, you said is it okay to use these icons if you didn't do them? I think here, if you say that, based on existing brand icons, that might be a way of kind of getting around it, okay? Or you stylize them yourself. But since they're already existing and this is based on an existing brand, I'd be okay with that, okay? Just be careful too. It looks like that 9's still getting a little bit cropped in the render. Do you see it?
Finalize like a final render.
Okay. Okay, and this is where you're gonna have patterns. What's going here?
Yeah.
What patterns?
It's gonna be kind of like wilderness patterns that I'm gonna create, like illustration.
Okay, but are you using them? Where are they being used?
Oh, it's just for the case study, I guess, unless it would have to be incorporated somewhere in the packaging.
Yeah, unless you're showing some application of them, I don't think you're gonna get any. It's not gonna be a connection, if that makes sense. And I think this one's still a little bit odd. I mean, you're implying that they're these huge pieces on a road, and you've got all this negative space, even though it's a background, right? Like the three, I think the other three, the final 3 you used in the piece had a little bit more. I don't know. I just feel like this one's like, it's still a challenging one, Let it be. You can go do a full close-up, or maybe showing them in a bag, like in a backpack or something, or a travel bag might be a neat way to do it. But you've tried so many of these, and I love that you're trying them. But to me, it just feels like they're in the way of my journey on the road, So just be careful about the placement. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is fun too. I think this would be, so you're going to do a little patch.
Yeah.
Like something they would put on their backpack kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm an illustrative patch that could represent kind of like road trips.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Again, I think, yeah. And then, so I think you got to get first with everything that's not the kids one, right? Then you get into your kids versions right here, right? Mm-hmm. Everything that's the adult one, just make sure when you're looking at it, is it a storyboard? Right now, I feel like it's kind of like just pieces, and I'm missing those little connections in between. Do you know what I mean?
Like the story of like.
Yeah. Bridge these, like, tell me what, tell me more of you started so strong with this, and I want you to like think of all the things that we were all highlighting when we went through Jordan's case study of just seeing there were those cues that told me we're on a path and we're going through the process. So we did the sketching and whatever, we got to the final pieces. Here's some application shots of how to use them in advertising. Then you can get into the patch thing and this idea that for extra value, we created so like it needs a little explaining just to help us out, right?
Okay.
And then you can say as a bonus, we did these really cool ones for kids. And again, like as well, yeah, you can do all these different mock-ups and everything. Okay.
Okay.
That's all I feel. It's like, we got to get that kind of storyline going. And now people will totally get, sometimes that missing link, trust me, like you think people are going to get it and they don't give people that much credit sometimes. They need a little explanation to understand, because these alone, anyone would look at them and go, we love your work, but how do we get it in a much better story? Okay. Yeah. Cool.
That's good.
All right. Good. How's everybody? How's what are we doing on time? 8:40. Okay. Let's see. How many more did we get? Cool. All right.
I need to explain mine because
Yes.
I didn't do it as it was with the directions. I made a website and I forced myself to make a website.
Okay.
Actually. And I provided the link right there in the comment.
This here?
Yes.
Cool.
And I think for that, expressions is the one that I have most stuff on than Yogurtland.
Okay. So this one here, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we'll take a look at the Yogurtland one first, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So you can go widescreen on these for sure. Like, I don't know if it's because I've made the window, but like, see how much you can go as wide as you want you're doing it on Wix, right?
Yes.
So yeah, make sure when you put in your photo galleries or these pieces, you can choose widescreen. Okay. Because like, take advantage of it. Like, let this just be your navigation on the left, nice and clean, good to go. Okay. So get these a little bit bigger. And again, I think if you let's see how far okay, so we got that. Yeah. I think again, it's just filling in the blanks. Tell us a little bit more about the objective, what the challenge was. Go into your process. This looks great. Love this. This could, putting that on a actual, like maybe on like you can see the texture of the paper, so make it look like it was sketched would be nice. And then you can get into your actual ones. And I'd love to even show this maybe in a picture at a Yogurtland. Ooh, okay. Like in the little poster frame they might have on the wall or something, if you can find a good shot. I just expanded a little bit more there, Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So again, yeah, give us more of that storyboarding. I think that's the big thing. With the objective, tell us and give us those titles, process, applications, final collection, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Cool. And then, did you have any other one that you want to look at, or are they all the same kind of progress at this point?
For expressions, I only have photos of me with the stuff that I printed out. Should I leave those in, or should I just not even include it?
Oh, I think this is fantastic. Again, go widescreen, but walk us through it a little bit here. These are things I designed, CSUN's department of whatever, and then just space them out a little bit. Give yourself, talk, and then have a paragraph under each one that talks about what it was, These are great.
Thank you.
I do like them, yeah. Okay. So wider screen, give yourself a little air, tell us the story, and fill in those blanks, okay?
For sure.
Okay, cool.
Let's
see how many more we got here. Let's do one more, and then we'll save the rest for Wednesday, but it'll also give any of you that haven't got it in there a chance to catch up, and we can do full reviews on Wednesday, okay? Okay. Are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, this is like, let me get this going. Jordan, are you still with us? I didn't even check.
Yeah, buddy, I'm here.
Oh, sorry, bro. Feel free to chime in, man. Thanks for hanging out for so long, bro. Really appreciate it.
No,
okay.
Dude, it's fine.
I can't get this to go a little bit more wide, but
yeah, I guess. Yeah,
that's okay.
Let's talk about here.
Tell us about the project a little bit.
So this one was my actual client works that I did.
Okay.
Like outside of school. Here they were just like a startup coffee shop. Didn't have a logo design yet, and I asked to make them a logo.
Okay.
And I don't have much of sketches. I just had a vector sketches on the screen there.
That's great.
And there's a final sketch logo design, and yeah, there's our
I like it.
Products.
Oh, these look great. Yeah, again, like obviously we're seeing them so small, and my first instinct is blow these up. But I know you've got them.
Yeah,
nice. This looks great. I love that. This looks
like this 15 megabyte.
I really like how you have and Jordan, chime in if you agree. Just how little things like this breaking those lines between sections. Like I love how this is floating here, and then again this little piece here. Like there's a consistency.
Engage with the scroll. Yeah, right? Like those things are super effective.
And this looks great. Just the color striping again. You're doing it here as well. This looks really, really great.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
it's kind of short.
So here, like, I mean, so okay. Thank you for watching. Watching, I would say, is maybe the wrong word.
Okay.
But do you, similar to what Jordan did, what if your copy was inspired by this case study? So like thank you. Enjoy your cup of coffee. Like, do you change it to something more to the brand at the end?
Right. That'd be fun. Yeah.
Okay. But so I'm assuming your case studies will be all kind of similar in this model, presented the same way, but with the different colors and the different assets, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, because I like this idea of having the diagonals. That's kind of your signature that will be throughout, but you change colors and you change all
pretty
your
much.
assets. Okay, love it. So I like that. I like the model. Yeah, it looks really, really good. This looks great too.
Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Cool.
Cool.
So let's do this, guys. We'll call it a night. Everybody good? We will continue with these. If there's anything that you were dying to go over tonight and we didn't, just email me today or tomorrow, tonight or tomorrow, and I will try to get some feedback to you as soon as possible with that. Any last questions for Jordan? Comments, suggestions, compliments, critique his work? What do you guys think? Yes, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was great, dude. Thank you for being so patient, hanging out with us with Aaron. That was awesome. Yeah. Okay. Hannah, can you check if mine is pixelated? I will take a look. Yep. Perfect. Any last words, Jordan? Words of wisdom as they embark on their portfolio.
I would say, I mean, everything I've seen is looking great. Honestly, if you just make it a story, take me from start to finish, I think you'll be fine. I mean, you guys are already way ahead of where I was a couple years ago, so you guys are doing fine. You're killing it. Nick, I mean, you're in good hands with Nick.
Thank you, man.
So yeah, I would think of just like, these are your hero stories. Tell me the story.
Perfect.
And you should be good. But the work itself is great. You guys are killing it.
Do you want to plug anything that maybe had dropped today? Like a particular podcast episode?
I forgot.
Shamelessly coming from you, not me.
We did. Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, Nick and I, if you guys don't listen to your, podcasts, I don't know what's the deal.
They get enough of me already.
That's actually a fair point. Yeah, I would say, I think we have a fun podcast going on. It's two perspectives where I didn't do school. I didn't go that route. I studied music, and Nick came from kind of where you guys are. And so it's two perspectives where we both kind of ended up in the same place, and we just talk design pretty much exclusively.
Yeah. It's a blast.
But we did, we released an episode today just figuring out like quarantine stuff with freelance and how that's working, because I'm a freelancer in this crazy uncertainty.
So it was a good call. It was a good conversation. It's up if you guys want to take a listen.
Find me on Instagram. Like, reach out. Let's connect. Let's engage. You guys, I mean, any student of Nick's is a friend of mine. So
there you go. All right, guys. Well, thank you again, dude. Appreciate everything. Hanging in there. That was awesome. Thank you guys so much. Any other questions from you guys? You guys good? Feel free to ask now. All good?
Thank you.
Go. Keep working on those case studies, guys. By the end of the week, we're going to allow you guys access to the booking site where you will look at and see all of the reviewers, and you'll be picking your first 4, I believe, things. So for sure, if any of you are wanting an advance notice on getting one with Jordan, let me know, and maybe I got connections. I can squeeze you in. So we can book Jordan up a lot of time. So that's coming around Friday. We'll keep you guys up to date with everything there. Okay. Keep working on those case studies, guys. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Have a great night.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Jordan.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
See y'all. Norik.
Yeah.
Stick around if you need to, or anybody. I just want to talk about Draplin.